Hello. Another week where I'm suffering from hay fever because the pollen count is like 10 times the very high pollen count. So I apologize. I'm super nasally. Maybe another week where I'm also wearing my cranky pants yet again. Who am I for? I don't wear pants. Let's get into this week's episode. A few quick teases. Portland startup got picked for a major national, international clean tech accelerator. College students here in Portland are throwing an intercollegiate hackathon, which is super interesting, and I would love to tell you more about. Our friend, the mayor of Portland, Keith Wilson, has brought together a roundtable. That the roundtable is short, a night or two, in my opinion. And I went through and found some of the most popular stories for Q1. And while I was doing that digging, I did some other stuff, digging through the Silicon Florist archives that might be interesting to you. So stay tuned for that. And of course, at the end, if you hang out, if you can put up with me and go, sorry, I have ants everywhere, ants. If you can put up with me, hang out for the entire episode, that at the end, I will share secrets with you. I always share secrets with you when you stay. When you have time to stay and hang out, secrets will be shared. Okay, let's get into it. Some of the quick hits. As I mentioned, Hack UP is the first intercollegiate hackathon being held here in Portland at the University of Portland. They've invited PSU and University of Oregon, Oregon State, PCC, Reed, Lewis and Clark, all the schools around here with collegiate hacker, computer science, engineering types, but also everybody else. Like if you're a designer, if you're a business person, if you're a marketing, creative, whatever, they want you there. It's a big hackathon for college students happening, I believe, April 11th and 12th someday. Like I'm as bad as AI. Really, when it comes down to it, I'm like AI's like, oh, the date is this. And you're like, that's not the date. And then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I screwed up. That's kind of how I am with dates, but I believe it's April 11th and 12th. So not this weekend, but next weekend. But if you're watching this during the week, then it is this weekend. I don't know when you're watching this. You have your own life. You go do your own things and maybe show up to the Hack UP event. I wrote something up. If you're interested in more, I'll link it up. They're still looking for judges and sponsors and collegiate hackathon-y type people to attend. So please, if that's of interest to you, please attend. The Clean Tech Accelerator is the Cox Clean Tech Accelerator in Atlanta, Georgia. And our friends at Forge got accepted there. They get some capital, they get some mentorship, they get a 12-week program to help them with their business. Forge, if they don't sound familiar, it's because I've usually mispronounced their name as Forgy, because it's spelled F-O-R-D-G-G, F-O-R-D-J-E. I can't even spell it, let alone say it. So I used to say Forgy, because I thought that's what it was. But then I realized it's kind of like Turoczy. There are a bunch of letters there, but a lot of them are silent. You only pronounce a few of them. So congratulations to our friends at Forge. Can't wait to see what they learn, what they come out of this accelerator with. Keeping an eye on that. Again, Atlanta. So they are the only Pacific Northwest company to be accepted to that program. So congratulations to them. And then the other, speaking of accelerator programs, Oregon AI Accelerator is roughly halfway through their cohort, their inaugural cohort, and their very first ever demo day of all time is going to take place on May 14th at Big Pink. If you'd like to see the 20 companies that have been through the accelerator and hear them pitch their concepts, that will happen on May 14th, and you should grab tickets. I will be there. I will probably be sitting in the front row with bells on. Maybe not bells, but pants. I will wear pants for that one. So hope to see you at Oregon AI Accelerator Demo Day. As always, I will bring stickers and stuff for people and things, and I hope to see you there. Okay. Those are the quick hits. Link all those up. Okay, now into the deep dive, bigger stories, stuff you can sink your teeth into. Our friends at Business Oregon, the Oregon governmental body that does all the businessing and things. They had you may remember, they hired a company called Techonomy out of Ohio to write a 10-year innovation plan for them. They released that 10-year innovation plan in the midst of the pandemic in 2021. And so that would mean we are roughly halfway through that innovation plan. So Business Oregon has now come back out looking for consultants to really analyze and assess how well we're doing against the 10-year plan. Are we ahead of where we expected to be 5 years in? Are we behind where we expected to be? Have things changed since, there was a global pandemic that basically changed everything and all the things? Like, has that affected what was described in the innovation plan? I don't know. I'm not a consultant. They're not paying me to do it, but you could be the consultant that they pay to do it. So I think the budget's like $125,000, somewhere around there, for 6 months, with the potential to be re-upped if need be. I don't know if it's just you get to work for an additional 6 months, or if you also get an additional amount of compensation for that. But, I've already had a couple people, some folks from Idaho, some folks from other areas of the United States reach out and ask if it would be worthwhile for them to put in a bid on that RFP. And I'm like, yeah, I'm more than happy to talk to you about what's going on in the innovation plan. I just don't know if the state traditionally in these situations tries to hire somebody from outside the state. They hired Techonomy to do the original plan, kind of like the city, hired that company out of Texas to help them with their, collaboration as Portland City Council. Anyway, I doubt Business Oregon will hire an Oregon consultancy to do this work. But if you are a consultancy with experience with state governments and innovation and all that kind of stuff, I highly encourage you to apply, to put in a proposal, and I will be happy to talk to you about the innovation plan and all the things and stuff that it's done. Get those proposals in, and we'll see where we go from there. Sorry, hay fever. I mentioned at the top that I'm going through puberty, and that's why my voice keeps changing. The Central City Roundtable. So I don't know why. I don't know why I got this stuck in my craw, but there seemed to be I didn't even know I had a craw, to be honest. But there's so many situations where people are talking about business or innovation or startups or entrepreneurship or what have you, when there are no entrepreneurs or startups at the table as part of the discussion, which very much strikes me like those people who go out and build a solution without ever talking to the target market or without ever testing and doing customer discovery and those kind of things. That's how government seems to be working lately, or maybe I'm just picking up on it a lot more, that there are these issues like the QSBS stuff. I'm sorry, I have to bring it up again, but the QSBS stuff, this was launched by Portland's mayor, Keith Wilson, and it has a litany of interesting people in it, people who are, got to read from the script, people who are all in on Portland's Central City, which Central City is an amorphous kind of thing. Like Eco Northwest has probably defined what that region of the city is, but it's like downtown and some central east side, and it's Central City. It's that part of Portland, and this roundtable is designed to help. How do we reinvigorate that? How do we bring people back? And who's around the table? We got folks from Melvin Mark, Nike Regents, PSU, OHSU, Nordstrom, TMT Development, On Point Timbers, Chef Stable, Literary Arts, Albina Vision, Trust, Central City Concern, and OCF. But you know who's not at that table? That's right. An actual entrepreneur or somebody who deals with startups on a regular basis. I'm not asking them to make a big ass table. I'm just saying the people who create new jobs, who are filling those spaces, who are helping that retail, like those are startup entrepreneurial type people. They're not like these big corporate entities by and large. So it would make sense if they're looking for creative and innovative ways to bring people back to Central City, to reinvigorate the energy in Central City, maybe they consider having some entrepreneurial people in there. You know, like Jeff, I think Jeff Swickard's on there. Like I suggested Josh Carter. Like Josh Carter has done a great job to not only engage with Mir, Keith Wilson, but also Jeff Swickard to bring Upstart Collective to Big Pink. He would be a good one to have on the board. Ferris Mubarak, you know, he runs Ned Space. He decided to keep it downtown. He's right there off of Pioneer Square. Like he could be another good candidate. Maybe somebody from Prosper Portland, you know, maybe somebody from the Office of Small Business should be at that round table. I'm not asking. Again, don't need a lot more chairs. Don't even need a chair. They can stand, but they should be involved in the round table, because otherwise we'll wind up with exactly the same thing we wound up with QSBS, which was electeds, committees make a decision without the right people in the room, and then unbeknownst to them, it's not their fault, but unbeknownst to them, they make the wrong decision and it impacts the startup and entrepreneurial community in the wrong way. So I sincerely hope they either bring those folks in to have conversations, or they add them to the roundtable, which would be ideal. I think there are any number of people who are invested in downtown, in Central City, who could be super insightful and informative to this group. And I sincerely hope, and it doesn't have to just be tech. It could be small business. It could be Better Portland. It could be, I don't know, what have you. I hate to keep complaining week after week, but this is not fucking rocket surgery, my dudes. Just bring entrepreneurs and startups in to be part of the mix, to be part of the conversation, so that we don't come up with solutions that adversely affect the people who are trying to build the next generation of companies in Portland. That's all I'm asking. Is that difficult? It's not. The answer is it's not. No, it's not difficult. Just do it, please. Thank you. To borrow from a company in our region, just do it. Just bring startups into that mix. Okay, that's all I'm asking. That's it. That's all the ranting I think I have this week. I may rant some more, but that's kind of where we are. And it would just be nice to see the city embrace the entrepreneurs here and have them be part of the conversation rather than having them be the recipients of the conversation. That's all I'm saying. Cool. All right, my script's kind of out of order. I'm just doing a piss poor job this week. And I'm sorry. You're suffering through it. You don't deserve this kind of half-assedness when you're looking for news and stuff, but stick with it. We're going to get through it. I was digging through Silicon Florist, the blog that I'm basically reading to you here because you don't have time to read it. I have time to write it, but you are too busy to read it. So that's why I'm here telling you about it. Well, I was like, what have been the most popular posts this year so far? We're through Q1. It's hard to believe, but we're already a quarter of the way through 2026. And I wanted to highlight the stories that, based on your clicks and reading, these were the top 10 stories on Silicon Florist. I think they give you a good flavor of what's been happening so far this year. And I'm not going to go into depth, but let me at least just read the titles to you of those posts. If you're interested in any of them, they're all there on the blog. You can get to them real easy. So here, and again, I apologize. Here they are, the top 10 Silicon Florist stories for Q1. Let me do it Casey Kasem style. You don't even know who Casey Kasem is. Ryan Seacrest, I don't know. Dick Clark, somebody who does a top 10. Here's the top 10. I'll start with number 10, and I keep drooling. As part of my hay fever, I keep drooling, so I hope you're not catching that. Okay, number 10. Portland startup Kivo lands additional funding. Number 9, who is taking the stage at Silicon Forest Tech Summit? Number 8, my response, me personally, to the Oregon Governor's Prosperity Council. Number 7, YC alum Depot raises $10 million, Series A. Number 6, investing $125 million in downtown Portland garners Jeff Swickard 2 buildings and a new upstart tenant, which of course is Upstart Collective. Now into the top 5. Number 5, Silicon Forest Tech Summit 2026. It's back and promising to be bigger than ever. And in fact, it was bigger than ever. And there was pie. And the trade show floor was amazing. And the speakers were amazing. So I just saw photos come out. So there are a bunch of photos from that floating around. Number 4, Anthropic plans to pop by Portland for a Claude Code hackathon. And in fact, they did. Number 3, this is weird. Number 3 begins with 3. Number 3, 3 ways to immediately engage with folks from the Portland startup community. This is one of those types of posts where I'm like, let me give you some tips and tricks for engaging with folks from the startup community. And apparently you liked it because it's in the top 3. Number 2, Oregon AI Accelerator reveals inaugural cohort. So, they revealed the 20 folks who are going to be in there. And I just told you they're going to have their demo day on, May 14th? I said I'm bad with dates. It's coming up in mid-May. So the people are interested in who got selected. I think they'll be equally interested in seeing their pitches. And the number 1 story, which will come as no shock to you and my cranky ass, is why is no one talking about Oregon eliminating QSBS tax breaks? So obviously that one far and away, that was 10 times the other next closest post. So that's Q1. If that's valuable to you, I'm happy to do this every quarter. I'll come back Q2, Q3. I usually do a year-end roundup, but I feel like you could use a more regular cadence of that. So if that's an interest to you, I will keep doing that. I hope you appreciate it. Okay, now the big deep dive. I was digging around in Silicon Florist. I was looking at these stories and I was like, hey, you know what? I don't often repeat myself. I am I read about that once. That's enough. And it came to my realization. I came to the conclusion that, that's unfair to you. You're not paying attention to every single thing I do. So I think from time to time, I need to kind of repeat things or share things. And this one was kind of inspired by, some feedback I was getting about, the accelerators. Has Portland ever done those things before? And I was like, are you new here? Because you probably were new here and you didn't know, and that's not fair to you. So I thought maybe I'll go back through all the stories I posted in the past 18 years and pick out stories about accelerators and kind of give you a feel for all the accelerators that have been part of the Portland startup community since 2007, or even some of them predate that. And I was able to capture some of them as well. So I'm not going to read you the post verbatim, but what I am going to do is really, as part of this imperfect and meandering history of Portland incubators and accelerators, I'm going to just hit the high points. I'm going to read off at least every accelerator that I covered or wanted to share with you, just so you're aware of what's happening. And they kind of happen in eras. So there's the 2000 to 2009-ish time where there's like Startups, there's the PSU Business Accelerator, there's OTBC, then there's Startup Weekend Portland, which is a incubator-ish kind of thing. There's Portland 10. Do you remember Portland 10? There's Pi, which started 2009. Full disclosure, co-founder, general manager of Pi. Angel Oregon was kind of like incubatory activity for folks, especially now, where there's a whole bunch of education and learning. And if I hope my voice is going to make it to the end of this episode, a whole bunch of learning and stuff with Angel Oregon. Then 2010 to 2013, you have Portland Seed Fund. You have the Nike Plus Accelerator powered by Techstars, the first powered by Techstars program in history that would go on to serve as the model for them collaborating with corporations. Upstart Labs, not Upstart Collective. Upstart Labs was kind of our first venture studio pursuit. Thai Oregon with their boot camp and all those kind of things. Then get into 2013 where we start specializing a bit. Oregon Bioscience Incubator, Oregon Storyboard, again, co-founder. Storyboard was focused on digital storytelling, so video games, movies, VR, AR, XR kind of stuff that lasted for a time. The Built Oregon Accelerator, which focused on consumer products and still does. Cascadia Clean Tech Accelerator, Leap Venture Studios, which was Dylan Boyd, who worked on the Techstars Nike Plus powered by Techstars Accelerator. He went to RGA, helped them create the Leap Venture Studio, which was a partnership with Mars Pet Care for pet-oriented startups and stuff that was here for a bit. WeWork Labs Portland had an accelerator program. This one's a mouthful. The Oregon Enterprise Blockchain Venture Studio, which was a destination blockchain accelerator that took place here. And then that brings us up to today, like modern day, with accelerators where you've got Oregon Startup Center out of Beaverton that runs a regular cohort. You have Accelerate Women, which started out as Accelerate Fund, started out as an accelerator program and continues to help women and people who identify as women with their startup pursuits or their company pursuits. You have the Latino Founders Accelerator. Our friend Juan Barraza runs that program. You have the Oregon UAS Accelerator out in Pendleton, so not exactly a Portland one, but it collaborates with Portland really effectively. Joseph Ueno and his team out there, and more ants on my desk. What the hell?
What is this? A center for ants?
Northbank Innovations, other side of the Columbia, our friend Dave Barkos, who has been doing community work forever and ever, now has an incubator program at the Vic, so wanted to highlight that one. And of course, the one we just talked about with the upcoming demo day and with the popular post from the top 10, the Oregon AI Accelerator. So that kind of brings us up to date. Like if I missed anything, if you ran an accelerator program and you're like, hey dude, you didn't cover my accelerator, please let me know. I'll be happy to add it to the list. But as I mentioned, I would also like to just keep doing this stuff. Like maybe I just go through and I'm like, historically, here are things that have happened. Like hackathons are coming back. Maybe it would be helpful for you to know about all the hackathons that have happened in the past. Like maybe you're like, oh, this is brand new and no one's ever done this before, when actually we probably have done it before, and those previous efforts may be informative to what you're trying to do now. So that feels like something I can do with kind of 18 years of written content from which to draw to inform that kind of stuff. So if that's interesting to you, or if you're like, hey, tell us about this thing, tell us about what Portland did before in this regard, like, please just feel free to comment and let me know what I should be covering in that regard. And I will be more than happy to go into the old archives and dig through Silicon Florist to figure out like some historical referential points that might be valuable to you, might be valuable to the community. I don't know. I just suddenly had this cold sweat. Okay, good. I was like, am I even recording right now? So that's kind of where my head is. So thank you very much. I don't know why I'm thanking you. I am clearly done. Okay. Congratulations. Thank you for staying. You've now made it to the secrets part of the episode, which is, of course, where I drop out of my character. I'm just going to let my voice be gravelly and low, and I'm not going to try and push it, and I'm going to continue to swipe ants off of my desktop. But this is kind of where I just tell you what's going on with me. Like as if you're interested, but you're still here. So hang out. Let's chat about things. I got the opportunity to sit down for a lengthy interview with my open source experience podcast, which was great. Really just talking about the open source community in Portland back in the day, but mostly like how you can engage with the open source community if, like me, you are not capable of contributing to an open source project. Like, I'm not a developer, but I can do other things in the open source community to be helpful. And those are the kind of things we talked about during the podcast. So if that's of interest to you, I would appreciate you watching that and providing feedback on that thing, because, I used to do quite a bit of work in the open source world back in the day. And that was great. Had the opportunity, thanks to Stephen Green, to sit down with our Secretary of State, Tobias Reed, and just chat with him about things we could be doing. Like, I'm concerned that there is a disconnect between and I'm just looking at stuff right now, but there's just such an awful disconnect between elected officials, government bodies and institutions, and founders in the startup community, no doubt to a frustrating way, as I have expressed however negatively over the past few weeks, especially like just the qualified small business stock as an example, as a flashpoint, just where that disconnect is. And it's no one person's fault. It's no one entity's fault. It's we both have work to do that we need to be doing to improve Oregon for everyone and make sure that everyone has the chance to be as successful as they can be. So thank you to Tobias for taking the time to chat with a group of us about things we could and should be doing, provided a number of opportunities for us to more effectively engage with electeds and government at all levels. City, state, county, federal, all that kind of thing. Got to sit down with some folks from OEN and the Metro Region Innovation Hub, the hub of innovation for the Portland Metro region. Got to chat with them a little bit about what they're working on and provide some feedback there. As always, caught up with a few founders, caught up with a few ants on my desk. And then, as I mentioned, I've been chatting with some Pi alums about an interesting new Pi experiment that kind of has arisen from an earlier experiment, which during the pandemic and following, Pi had run an experiment to determine whether the startup entrepreneur innovation kind of stuff could have a positive impact on our neighbors experiencing houselessness. And this is kind of the sequel to that. So we tried that experiment. That did not work. We learned a great deal, and using those learnings, this new experiment is kind of coming about and coming together. And I'm excited because it's just Pi alums who are like, we want to do this and we want Pi to be part of it and we're going to drive it. And I'm ever so thankful that those folks are as passionate and driven as they are, and excited to engage with them. So more on that soon. Aren't you glad you stayed for secrets to learn about that little part? So again, I feel like shit. Hay fever's been kicking my ass. I appreciate you sticking around as long as you can. I hope the pollen count is not causing your immune system to go into overdrive. I hope you're holding up. And until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.